The cousins, Ellen Glynn and Sara Feeney, these two girls who drifted out while paddleboarding at Furbo Beach off the coast of Galway on Wednesday night, they were rescued after 15 hours at sea. And I'm absolutely delighted to say that Ellen is in Galway on the line. She's talking to us from hospital today. Ellen, good afternoon to you.
Hi.
Hi Ellen, thanks so much for being with us on Lunchtime Live. I really appreciate your time after what I can only imagine was a day that you will absolutely never forget yesterday. How are you feeling right now?
I'm good. It's kind of all starting to sink in a bit.
Yeah,
so
and you're
still
probably
a bit overwhelming and everything. But
yeah, of course. Are you going to get out of hospital today, do you think, or over the next few days?
Well, we were expecting me to be out this morning, but it'll either be later this evening or tomorrow morning, so not too long.
And you'll get back to your own bed. Ellen, take us back if you can. Tell us a little bit about yesterday or the day before afternoon when yourself and your cousin Sarah went out on your paddle boards. Tell us what happened or when you knew something was gone wrong.
So we'd been out 2 nights before at the same time on the paddleboard, so we knew and the weather was good, it was calm, it was warm, and we knew it wasn't going to be dark, it wasn't going to get dark or anything too soon. We were going to be back. We weren't intending to go out for too long or to go out too deep or anything, and we just started paddling out, and just like a few minutes paddling out, talking away, and then we looked back and we had just gone really, really deep into the water, and it had just gotten really windy and we hadn't even noticed it, and the water had gotten really strong, so we tried to go back, but we just couldn't make it back.
Ellen, one of the things that everybody is kind of talking about today, when we're discussing the story, is how quick thinking yourself and your cousin Sarah were, and you tying the two paddleboards together and basically managing to keep your cool somehow. Tell us what was going through your head.
At first, I was quite panicked just for a few minutes, but then we just kind of decided not to panic, not to have any negative thoughts or anything, and everything would be okay. So we just tried to stay calm and positive and everything.
And were you kind of talking to one another? Were you saying to Sarah, was she saying to you, we have to stay calm, we have to try and keep the cool here?
Yeah, and we just, yeah.
Your dad was speaking earlier on. I heard him speaking here on News Talk Breakfast this morning, Ellen, and he was describing how you were screaming at the helicopter, but it sort of just missed you, and how you managed to kind of dig deep and keep going, even though you probably thought that was your chance of being rescued gone. Tell us a little bit about how all that played out. You could obviously see the helicopter and you could see some boats around.
Yeah, it was. We were waiting and waiting. We assumed that my auntie was going to call for help, and then it was pitch black by the time the first boat came. So that was kind of going around, and we thought maybe the lights on the boat might pick up the high vis on our life jackets, but it didn't. So the boat was going around, but it just didn't see us, and we were kind of screaming at it. But it was just so windy that they couldn't hear anything. And then the helicopter came, and we thought for sure with the big lights on the helicopter that we'd be seen, but I'd say that we were just missed. We just got a bit unlucky.
And then when those chances kind of went past you, was there another stage of sort of saying to Sarah and Sarah saying to you, you'd obviously no idea what time it was, did you? So you were kind of it was dark at that point, and were you saying to yourself, okay, we're just going to have to hang tight until it gets bright again?
Yeah, we just kind of we took notes of the lights around so we could try to remember where we were to keep track so we didn't drift too far or anything. But then it just got really dark and all the lights went out, and we just couldn't see anything, and we kind of stopped. We'd been paddling in place to try and stay where we were, just out from Furbo Beach, so we'd be easier to find rather than if we just let go. We thought we'd be much easier to find, but that obviously just didn't work out. But when everything got dark, we kind of just stopped paddling and we were drifting, and we must have just gotten all confused because I thought we were drifting into town, but we just drifted out in the complete opposite direction.
And you could see the cliffs of Moher at one point, is that right?
Yeah, this morning when it was completely foggy this morning when yesterday morning. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're okay.
When it started to get bright out, it was foggy, so we didn't know where we were. But then the fog kind of lifted, and we could see that on one side of us was the Cliffs of Moher, and the other side was the Aran Islands. So then, obviously, the ocean was right behind us, and that's the direction the wind was blowing us into, and the waves were really big, kind of pushing us out that way. So.
And you had a life jacket on. Did you have a wetsuit, or were you just in a swimming togs?
No, we were just both in our bikinis.
And were you really, really cold?
Yeah, it was. As soon as the sun went down, it started to get freezing with the wind and everything. And then there was thunder and lightning and lashing rain and everything. So we were frozen.
And in the middle of the night then, like 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning when it was completely dark, were you speaking to one another?
Yeah, we were on, I think we kind of, my memory's like a bit fogged now because I'm just so kind of in shock. But I think we were just kind of trying to stay calm, talking about things when we got back. Oh, I can't wait to be wrapped up in a blanket, etc., etc. We couldn't really do much strategizing while it was dark and we couldn't see anything. So we just were trying to keep our cool, kind of.
So when you managed then to cling on to this boy, you saw a boy that was part of a lobster pot. So you managed to kind of cling on to that. And then eventually the two fishermen, Patrick Oliver and his son Morgan, arrived on the scene. Tell us what you thought when you saw them coming.
We saw their boat out way in the distance and started waving our paddles up in the air like crazy, trying to flag them down. And then they turned and started coming towards us, and we were just in such disbelief that we finally were getting saved. We just couldn't believe it.
And they had some blankets and some, I saw pictures. I'm looking at you, you're on the front of the Irish Independent today. I'm sure you know that. I see you here, and you have they had hats for you and blankets, and you were wrapped up, and they gave you something to eat. Did they? What did you eat?
We were on the boat with them, they wrapped us up in their jackets and stuff and gave us drinks, and then they brought us to Inisheer, and we got straight on the helicopter, and on the helicopter they had these big huge fancy blankets for us, and they gave us chocolate bars and juice and everything.
And how do you feel about Patrick and Morgan? I heard them speaking yesterday, and just when they got the word that there was 2 girls missing, they didn't think twice about it. They were really clever about where they thought you might be. They kind of followed a plan. I'm sure you have a link now to the 2 of them for the rest of your life.
Yeah, we're so grateful for them. I don't even know what would have happened to us if they hadn't come and found us.
Well, look, we're all absolutely delighted that yourself and Sarah are okay. I really hope that you get out of hospital soon and get home to your own bed.